around. It's something that I just can't understand, the way I behave. Some people you can never save. In my right hand, got a girl on my ear, and on my left hand, throwing back a beer. What can I say? I'll make you see clear.
If you remember, when we last left our group, we had finally laid Terrence's soul to rest. That Jody and the rest of the group had found out that Terrence was actually a practitioner of magic, and he was being trained by Sidney St. Clair, which was a bit of a revelation to everybody. It had also come out that Volt had killed Terrence, but that actually Terrence had hired Volt to kill him because he could feel the darkness from whatever spell Sidney St. Clair taught him to use, gradually taking him over. That's one of the reasons he had started working in the soup kitchens, because he was trying to bring back the goodness in his heart, and it was not working. So he had been contacted by Dela's sister about whether he was getting into organized crime. He said, no, but I do need the name of a guy. And of course, Dela's sister gave him the name of a guy who did wet work. And that was where Volt comes into it. Mm-hmm. You had defeated the Shade of Terrence. The castle had the tower had disappeared. You'd gone back up through the rift into the real world and out of the Nevernever. Beers were shared all around, and so it was the evening of the second day, believe it or not. So this has all happened in 48 hours.
Wow.
So that's
we got the fear boy.
Right, the Devilman. Correct, Devilman.
That's right. Also known as the Devilman.
That's right.
Have we shared the Devilman stuff with them?
I don't know anything about it.
Not yet, but considering.
Yeah.
Sure.
Volt
I mean,
doesn't know anything
since
about
we
it.
survived the Neverkeep with them.
Yeah, right.
Like that other
Some of them owe us.
Oh, that's
I
right.
don't know.
You guys had also gotten rid of his haunting.
Dude, out of the
That's correct.
sweetness of
The
your
haunting
heart.
was gotten
And
rid
actually,
of.
you're
you
the
know,
one that really has the
there's
goods on him.
Man of
Yeah, well, now everybody knows. You know,
Oh.
yeah.
Well, he also has kind of the goods on
But
you, if you remember,
I
because you had fixed
also- I
that
have to
Saints
put that
game,
in.
and
Yep.
so rather than killing you, he had said, this guy might be good to know.
Well,
Gotta
you
pay
know.
the bill.
Gotta pay the bill, keep the lights on.
Being a man of God doesn't always pay the bills.
If you would just pray harder.
So bad.
You gotta have faith.
Now I have George Michael in my head.
Don't always get what you want.
Try, was it you get what you
If
need?
you try sometimes,
Get
get
what
what
you
you get what you need.
That's the one.
Alrighty, so that brings us to, you're back at Volt's little loft apartment in the top of the warehouse, and sitting around probably drinking beers, probably on folding chairs. I don't know if you have couches yet up there.
I'd probably one couch and some folding chairs and like a little small round coffee table.
Okay, I might have actually non-folding chairs over there, huh?
But
Yeah,
no
or
microwave.
something.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, there's only like, what, 5 of y'all, so the couch and a couple chairs would probably take care of it. And the broken microwave.
Yeah.
Gonna be a new one of
I'm
those.
just like
Rest in
kicking
peace.
parts of that around me. Like,
Yeah, right.
you have a broom?
Sure, yes, I do.
Yes.
You should get that.
I hand it to you.
I just stare at it like, oh, no. I was just saying it was a good idea. Like,
Oh, I put it back in the closet.
Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you about one thing you can do with fate points, and that's a declaration. And that's kind of a neat thing to do if you maybe needed a toolbox and you had an aspect that you could tag, like always ready or something like that.
Okay.
You can use a fate point, tag that aspect, and declare, yes, I have my toolbox with me.
nice. Okay.
Or,
okay.
if you needed to arrive somewhere in the nick of time, maybe someone was being attacked, and you had an aspect like always there in the nick of time, you could tag that, and when somebody's attacked, you show up just in time to help them with whatever problem they're having. So that was something I forgot to tell you about aspects.
That's
you can
cool.
tag them for a declaration, but it has to be some kind of aspect that, kind of makes sense to go with that, which a lot of them you can be pretty flexible with. So especially with you having a toolbox, you really don't even need to tag an aspect on that. You've got one, so it doesn't matter, Alrighty, so beer and maybe pretzels is being shared up in Volt's loft apartment. What's the next move?
Well, I don't know about you guys, but that was, I don't know, I spent a lot of time as a kid, so I missed some of it. But
It's some crazy shit for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. There's just a lot been happening in the past couple of days, and it feels weirdly like there's a lot of... Do you feel like we were all sort of like drawn together in some weird way?
Definitely.
Like it showed up at your house right when you were having this haunting, you know?
Yeah.
And then you show back up.
And then you
And
showed
you're
up
with him.
again.
Yeah.
With
But
the
I actually
police.
felt compelled to come
Right,
to
with the police.
I am not the police.
You're basically the magic police.
Has he told us that yet?
Huh?
About him feeling...
No, yeah. So apparently, yeah, I felt a pull to come meet up with him that night. Like a spell was maybe.
There's definitely some magic afoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a hand, for that matter.
Or a hand.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Magic a hand.
Right. At hand.
Oh, at hand, yeah.
There we go.
Lord works in mysterious ways, I think, you know?
That's
And
really,
you
it's a
Terrence.
really weird way from to do it, but that's,
You knew
That's
Terrence.
one of the
It sounds like
things
everybody
about
knew
in the
Terrence.
books
I
that
guess that's true.
the was it Sonya, the Russian guy with that carries the sword that you're actually carrying right now. They always tend to show up exactly where they're needed, just at the right time. So
Interesting.
that is one thing that happens very much. The hand of God is definitely on your head.
I always, whenever somebody says the Lord works in mysterious ways, I go to Boondock Saints.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know?
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
it's been a long time.
The one where they fall through the ceiling and the rope pulls
And they're
right,
spinning,
right,
and they get these
spin
precision
and take
shots.
It's like,
He said I wouldn't need this rope.
all right, Rambo, you can have your knife. It's great stuff.
Yeah.
so, Terrence's funeral is tomorrow.
It's not tomorrow. Tomorrow's Sunday. This is, believe it or not, Saturday
I know, I'm
night.
having a hard time.
His
picking days.
funeral is Monday
Okay,
in the
this
morning,
is
around 10
Saturday.
o'clock. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Well, so we have a thing, I guess.
Yes, so we want to call out I forget what he's called.
Manifestation of fear.
Yes.
Fear Boy.
Yes, we want to call out Fear Boy, but what was his name? I'll look
He
it
was
up.
called the
Devilman.
Devilman.
Devilman. So have you guys heard of the Devilman?
I've heard of devils.
Anybody?
It's like a
Don't-
rapper.
You know, it'd be really funny if you watched
Machine Gun
though.
Kelly.
No. But so the Devilman apparently is a fear of manifestation that has been killing the homeless.
Strike
That's a
that.
fear.
Reverse it. Okay. Manifestation of fear, not a fear of manifestation. So
Did I say
strike
fear
that.
of
Yes.
manifestation?
Strike that. Reverse it. Right. There you go.
Excuse me. So Devilman apparently is a manifestation of fear.
That's it. You got
That's
it.
the
I was
one.
afraid I was gonna say it wrong again. Devilman is a manifestation of fear.
Correct.
That has been killing the homeless. She was told about it first, and then she told me.
It's
and
kind of been happening throughout the city, and there's been sightings. There was like one of the first-hand witness accounts witnessed this person like killing people with like was it a staff? Okay, it was a staff. Was it like a lightning attack?
And they just touched him.
Touched them, and then they had like a big burn hole where their heart was.
Right. And they had a look of abject terror on their face.
Yeah, real not good way to go. So, that I'd like to get off the streets, if at all possible. You made me a doodad. That would help with that. Worked maybe a little too well. Just saying.
I didn't tell you to wear it.
No, that was my bad. That was my bad.
But we did find out that I can wear it and can seem to contain my fear enough to be able to use it.
Really?
without-
Fantastic.
It worked.
It worked.
Just played.
So, we're trying to yeah, I guess track him down and take him off the streets. Not really a good thing that I want walking around the city, but
Got a description besides just
really big horns. You know, like a devil, and I'm like a devil man, I guess.
I already knew
Devil
what you were
Man.
showing.
Yeah.
Here's Here's a very good description of the Devilman.
Just have him.
Great picture.
That's good. That is good.
So
That's him.
Anyway,
That is uncanny.
but he was seen around Jackson Square, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
Oh, also,
Doesn't seem too intimidating.
we think
He's 9
Wow.
feet tall,
9 feet
has
tall.
horns, and a staff. And
We
somebody
also
said they
know
thought he
that
was
he's-
cannibalistic.
is the full moon tomorrow night, Sunday night. So
Mm.
we know that he's going to probably be at play on the full moon, which is tomorrow night, and we sort of plan to stake out. And honestly, could use an extra couple of pair of hands on creating net. If you'd be willing to help us out.
Oh no. What's the profit in it?
The profit is we just got a phantom out of your house. Mm-hmm. And I won't charge you for that.
Oh, there's a price?
Oh, there certainly was.
We never discussed it or shook on anything, so
Oh, okay, that's fine.
You just don't remember it.
I don't know about that.
When it comes
Try.
to money, dragons are pretty good about remembering.
Yeah.
Who
I got
said-
pretty good resources.
I just think that this is a, it's a probably something that will draw attention to our community that we don't really want attention drawn to. It's being noticed by a lot of mundane, so I don't think we'll be able to keep a lid on it much longer if we don't.
Well, remember, the Devilman's been around since the 1850s for a while. But it's only been recently that he's been really kicking up his hunting. In fact, Jody got a list of around, was it 15 pages? Almost
100 names.
100 names of people have been killed. Now, not all of them were probably killed by the Devilman, but there's definitely a lot of people dying of natural causes, which is a little odd. So, yeah.
And as a side note, I don't know if this is part of what's going on, but also in Jackson Square, there are cats that are gathering. And we saw this, and they start singing, if you will. They just sing together, like they're communicating, or
It's like
it was very weird.
Brush Arbor revival, but with furry,
Yes.
terrifying animals.
So we need a video camera.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's related to Devilman. I don't know if there's
I've
something
got
else
one.
going on.
You got one?
Yeah, because I had one set up in the corner to film everything when we went in.
Probably a little GoPro.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's right.
I remember, I forgot till you said something. I remember picking one up. Yeah.
So
You got the camera.
So are you guys willing to help or not?
sounds kind of dangerous.
It
I
does.
mean,
But I guess it's a good time to sharpen my claws.
It will be dangerous, but it's gonna be dangerous walking around the city regardless. If we have a chance to corner it and jump it before it
So
becomes our problem later.
you're like the police, right?
No. I'm a warden. That's all I
That's
am.
like the police.
So
So do
I-
I get deputized?
I protect people.
Do I get deputized?
and can we get badges?
Yeah, I want
Sure.
a badge.
Sure.
Wardens don't wear badges.
Sure.
They have gray cloaks. Now, you guys could have black cloaks. That might be okay, but you can't.
I'm
have
gonna
real
go to
gray
the
cloaks.
little candy store and get them one of the little cheap
I just want
sheriff
badge.
badge.
I'll be happy.
That's what I'm gonna get, a cheap sheriff badge thing.
Well, and her cloak is actually magical. It doesn't actually defend her. It just listen. It just never seems to get
Tell
dirty.
all my secrets.
That's
Her gray cloak is
secret.
always
That's actually
clean
really
and
cool.
shiny. Strangely enough.
You have to
very
look
You
good.
have to recommend me here, dry cleaner.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'll help out if I could be a deputy.
Okay. I'm going to go get some
We gotta
Well,
deputy shields.
It's about 11 p.m. All the candy stores are closed right now. Any child that went to a candy store
Except
at
the
11
one in Mobile.
That's right. Yeah, so if you're going to go to a candy store, you're going to have to wait until Sunday morning. Which, nice thing about New Orleans is everything's still pretty much open on Sunday mornings. So, yeah.
Okay, well,
You can do the
Then
deputizing ceremony tomorrow too.
where... Oh,
Ooh.
a ceremony too. Wow.
Yeah.
Ceremony
The
too.
ceremony,
Better.
Dela, the ceremony.
So, okay, that's fine. That's fine. We'll do that. Well, if it's late, is it late?
It is.
Then I'm going to.
And your arm hurts. You probably
Say
want to go
goodnight.
to. You probably want to go to the hospital. And, you know. Well, you've had the. Actually, you don't have to. You had the potion.
So
So
I'm gonna go sleep this off.
yes, right. Because it went from a severe
I need to
to a
check.
moderate.
Moderate.
Which means midway through the next adventure, which means midway through this adventure, your arm will be healed up. Any of the rest of you had minor consequences, they're gone. Okay? So
Did we Uber here, or did you ride on my bike here?
Ubered? No, or did you use the
No, I thought
street
you were on
cars?
the bikes. didn't
No, when we really talked about that, no, it's
I
street
rode
car.
the bike to Trevor's,
We did.
right?
I did a trolley to.
Streetcar.
Yeah.
Trolleys are in San Francisco.
I did a streetcar
Name desire.
to Darwin's house,
Mm-hmm.
and then I want to say we Ubered to the warehouse.
Right, because she had to sit in the back seat and think calm thoughts.
Oh,
Or taxi,
Just
because
probably
Uber probably didn't exist back then. I don't know how long Uber's been in business.
Yeah. Don't even go near a Tesla. It should be
Yeah.
done. She'd walk near a
Well,
Tesla and it would just melt.
We had to have a smartphone to order an Uber anyway, so she definitely didn't get it.
Well, we can consider this payment. I'll drop you back off at your places in my Chevy Impala.
isn't
Isn't that a two-seater?
There's a back
67.
seat.
Oh, that's right.
67. As long as you think calm thoughts, then you're not going to hurt
It's
his
definitely the
Impala.
older model.
But how far is Warehouse District from where I live?
Well, you live on near Frenchman Street, so it's probably about 5-6 miles.
Ah,
No, I'm
further than
sorry,
that.
that's not right.
Yeah.
Probably closer to 4 miles.
Okay. All right.
You should be okay for 4 miles. I mean, that shouldn't be bad, especially since your car is older. Now, if you were a newer Impala, you probably wouldn't want to try that, just because
I'll
if nothing
just-
else, your radio quit working forever.
I'll
That
just
sounds terrible.
meditate.
All right, Jody, make me a discipline check real quick.
Uh-oh. Don't blow my car up.
Ooh, that's a
Nice.
good roll.
Oh, I
What's your
got an
discipline?
8.
All right, so
Guess
you
that's
go,
all you gotta say.
climb into the back seat. It's probably a 2-door. So, wait a minute. I'm not sure if Impala is 67s or 4. It doesn't matter. You want 4 or 2 doors?
Let's do tour.
Okay. You climb into the back seat, thinking calm
Whatever
thoughts.
Sam and Dean Winchester's is.
Yeah, I'm not sure if theirs was a 2. I think
I feel like it was a
two-door.
two-door.
I think it's
Yeah.
a
It
two.
was two.
Well, I guess actually I've got the diecast mini over there somewhere.
Oh, do you really? Nice.
Yeah. Anyway,
It was a 2-door.
It was
with
a
a
2-door.
back seat.
I see it.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
Okay.
sure.
Well, we can fit 2 in the back, 2 in the
Yeah.
front.
You can ride your moped back.
Yeah, I'm going home.
So all 4 of you pile into the Impala. You start the engine. It's green. Was that what we decided, or is it black?
Black. Yeah.
Okay, all right. It's not green. All right. Lime green, right?
You got lime green.
It is the one.
Yeah. So you drop them off at their various
Kansas City.
residences, which interestingly enough now means you know where they live, which is probably not a bad thing to know either.
You could just drop me off at this pawn shop. I'll walk the rest of the way home.
Well, I already know where you live.
Yeah.
before this.
Oh,
That's
right.
right. That's
Don't
right. We
worry.
dropped off a letter, a note for her.
Well,
That's
it's not very far.
That's-
Yeah, it's up just upstairs.
Just watch you go upstairs.
It's funny.
Okay, yep. I thought I was slick.
Nah, that's sorry. So you head back to your various domiciles. I guess get ready to go to bed, and probably all of you head to bed pretty quickly after that. It has been a busy couple of days. Sunday dawns bright and early. You probably head to mass.
Yeah.
Probably 8 o'clock mass in the St. Louis Cathedral.
I will be going to church as well.
Okay, so you're going to church as well. Are you going to the St. Louis Cathedral with her? Or just, where are you going? Go wherever you
I
want.
guess. Is that the closest one to where?
Well, that's the one that's in Jackson Square. I mean, that's the
Sure,
big,
I'll go there.
big
That's
Catholic
where
church.
I will go.
Okay, so you probably run into Dela there while you're in 8 o'clock mass. She's going to mass as well. What are the rest of you doing?
Hey, what a treat.
I imagine whenever I wake up, I start kind of going through my resources and stuff, kind of doing like an inventory of what I might have. And in the process of doing so, I'll turn the TV on to, like one of those Joel Osteen kind of channels or whatever, just kind of have it playing in the background while I'm doing things.
There you go. There's probably several of those, or at least some radio stations for sure. Yeah, it looks like you're still pretty good on most of your materials you need to do things. You could probably actually even sit down and replenish your healing potion real quick.
Probably
It would
need
probably
to.
take you an hour to do that or something like that. And you can listen to a worship service while you're doing that too. Okay, so replenishing your healing potion, listening to something on the telly, something like that.
I'll probably sleep in since I'm still kind of hurt.
Right,
and try to practice my trombone. And hopefully my arm's not too messed up in that.
Yeah, no. Your arm's feeling pretty good. Definitely the healing potion has helped. So, yeah, you're able to practice. Doesn't seem like it's affecting anything. It's still a little tender, a little sore. Every once in a while when you go for the long extensions or the short extensions, you kind of feel a pinch in this area. But, yeah, you're going to be fine. Give it a little more time, maybe a couple more days, and it'll be good. All right, Volt.
I'm probably working on renovating the warehouse out.
Okay.
Moving clutter and debris and stuff out,
Right.
making it more of a lair.
Mm-hmm.
Just slowly working to that point.
Right. There's a good bit of clutter in there. When you chased out the guys who...
And I need to sweep the microwave up, too.
Pieces up, yeah. Well, and you probably want to take those out of there and throw them away, because microwaves can sometimes have some pretty nasty stuff in them. Yeah. So you get that cleaned up, take it to probably one of the local dumpsters. On the bottom floor, there's some crates that were left there by the guys you had chased out. You probably want to go through them and see what's in them.
Definitely.
Especially in case there might be some contraband, maybe stuff
illegal
you
weapons,
don't want to get caught with. Right. You start going through the crates. Most of it is electronics, low-end electronics that looks like fell off the back of a truck and these guys were holding, or maybe somebody had stolen it and, we're putting it there. None of it's anything you really want to keep. You're not even really sure where...
Is there a microwave?
There actually is. There's even a toaster oven if you really want to get crazy.
Yeah.
There's a nice stereo system, probably nicer than yours. You were probably had like a little boombox or something like that.
Yeah.
So you're going through.
Yeah.
Well, that's not a nice stereo. It's a cheap stereo, but it's got better
decent
speakers than what you've got.
I will definitely repurpose and.
Well, they're not coming back for it.
Yeah, liberating these things from
Right.
the evildoers and
That's
putting
right.
them to good use.
That's right.
That's what I'm doing.
There's about 4 or 5 toaster ovens. There's a couple microwaves.
Y'all want some toaster ovens?
Anyone else want some?
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
I'll
right.
keep one back.
Yeah, that's right. You give him a call real quick. He my toaster oven, rolls back over and goes to sleep. Right.
A toaster oven probably works better for me than a microwave.
You get through about 10 of these really cheap stereos that you're kind of using. There's some car stereos. None of them are as nice as the stereo as you've got in your car. Nothing. A couple of VCRs, DVD players. All of them really pretty low end. Nothing really exciting. There is a TV or two. They're about 27-inch televisions. They're not real big. And there is a actual home entertainment, the sound system to go with it. And you're thinking, oh, that's kind of nice. I can put that to use. So you grab the TV, take them upstairs, the sound system, and kind of start hooking it up. You've gotten through about maybe a third of the boxes. And you've been gradually moving stuff out into the dumpsters. You especially don't want hot items sitting in your warehouse if the popo come by.
Yeah.
And so you've gotten through about a third of them. And it's gotten to be probably about 10 o'clock, and you get all the way through this one stack of stuff, and it all moved out, and the microwave cleaned up. You guys have gotten out of mass at 9 o'clock. Anything in particular you want to do after you get out of mass?
I'll probably refresh any supplies that I can get at the chapel, like any holy waters or things like that I would need to get.
Right, shouldn't be any problem to get that.
Then probably right after mass, I do my street sermon.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Kind of being inspired from the recent events, I will
You're
preach
do it
on
Jackson Square.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sounds good.
I will do as my scripture, 1 John 3:3.
Mm-hmm.
Whosoever has hope in him purifies himself and is purified. And talk about redemption and
You
that sort of thing.
do your little sermon. Most of the practitioners around Jackson Square don't really listen much. They're doing tarot readings or tarot.
For sure.
Tarot readings. Tarot's a root. We used to make. I don't know. They're reading palms. They're reading cards. They're not. I mean, they're trying to make a buck. So they're not really listening very much. You do notice a few of them stop and kind of come over and listen, and they don't say much of anything, but then go back to their work. A few of the artists stop and listen to you. You get a lot of tourists that stop by and listen. A couple of them, I like what you're saying. They hand you $1, $5 there. You actually wind up coming out with about $20 from this. Donations, so kind of cool stuff. But yeah, you finish up. I assume you're probably hanging around and listening to this. Yes? No?
No, I'm shopping for badges.
Oh, right. So you head into the French Quarter, find a little candy store that always has all the cool sodas and candy and stuff like that. You are able to find some badges. How many are you getting?
I'm gonna get 3
Okay.
just to be safe.
That's not a bad idea. So you grab those badges. Anything else you want to get from the candy store?
I'll grab some candies.
Okay, cool. Anything in particular?
Another Turkish delight. Maybe some like root beer barrels and, you know.
So you grab a bag of those. It probably comes to maybe $10 total. It's very
some
rich.
raisins.
Some raisins? I don't know if the candy
Chocolate
store-
covered raisins.
That they might have. I was going to say just straight raisins that you don't get that
Raisins.
candy store.
The caramel hard candies.
Oh,
I heard raisins as well.
I'm sorry, that was
And I
my
like,
bad
Yeah, the little hard
pronunciation.
caramel, the round, they're
They're called raisins?
yes, you would see them there. So you can
I
grab
think
a
it's
roll
a
of them.
pun on like reasons to eat one. You know?
Ah.
Like I don't know exactly what
I thought
the.
it was like Swedish or
It
German.
could be
or
a
something.
last
I don't
name
know.
in a foreign
Okay.
language.
So you
I don't
can
know
find
what
those
I'm
there
talking
and grab her one.
I'll get a couple boxes of gobstoppers too. They're
Okay.
good for a stakeout.
Always good. You finish remaking a healing potion. You got that all set up and put into your utility belt. It's probably now about 10:30. You finished going through the first, stack of boxes. You probably just rolled out of bed. Maybe you're are thinking about, what do I want to eat today? Besides black coffee.
Yeah.
And so, what's next, guys and gals?
I'll find a homeless person to give that offering to.
Okay.
And then I will probably go try to hunt down Dela.
Okay. You could definitely find a homeless person around Jackson Square who will take that $20 off your hand easily. Yes, faux show.
Easy.
Then you head toward Dela's place. It's not too far from her. You're not too far from her house, really. What are you doing after you get all these things? You heading home?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
gonna head back to the house.
All right. You roll up to the house just about the time you see Dela go inside through the front door. So it's like, oh, she just got home too, and you did see her at mass, so you know she was there.
Right.
So that's pretty good timing.
I think just real quick because it's been a couple of weeks. Was I there when you did the ritual to purify your house or no? So I don't know about that. Okay.
Yeah, I think you left. Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it
Right.
because we both came over to Volt's place.
So I do know that you.
Yeah, you know
handled
that it was
okay,
done.
Okay.
This house is clean.
I'm pretty sure we probably told you.
All right.
That's what I was just saying. We definitely told her. She just wasn't there.
When it happened. Gotcha. Okay. Knock, knock.
Hello?
Hey, it's me.
What's up?
I just wrapped up in the square. Did you get everything that you needed for tonight?
Yep, I pull out the shiny little badges.
The
Nice.
plastic badges.
Yes, the shiny plastic badges.
We need to go round up our deputies.
Yes. Did we tell them where we were going to meet them and when?
I have Volt's phone number and Darwin's phone number now. So I guess we could get in touch and play the chain. We could maybe do dinner tonight before the stakeout and then like
Sounds
an
good.
early dinner before sunset and then make a plan.
Sounds good to me.
All right. So you give Darwin a call first. You get a call from Miranda. What's the story? Morning glory.
Hello?
Hey, I'm sorry about your sandwich. Just wanted to say. He's still a little sore about it. I'll give him a minute to cool up. I'll call Krugel.
Krugel. Nice.
I'll call Walt.
All right.
He needs a minute. He needs a minute.
All right, Bolt. You get a phone call on your cell phone.
Hello?
Hey, what's going on?
Just sorting stuff out.
Sorting stuff out, like mid, cleaning up, like
Yeah, like moving boxes and putting in the new stereo.
Got you. Hey, so did you charge up that camera?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's ready to go.
Hey, so we don't have Bunk's number. Are you in contact with him?
Yeah, I can call him.
Okay, cool. Maybe you wanna, if you feel like grabbing him, you could meet us at Muriel's, say around 4:30.
All right.
I don't know what time it gets dark and what.
About 6 or 7.
Okay, 5:30.
Sure, I'll be there.
Sounds great. Great.
Do you want a toaster oven or anything like that?
I would not say no to a toaster oven.
All right, cool. I found some. Click.
Not a lot of people like having long conversations with me.
It's not.
I just don't want to invite any questionable questions about.
Right.
Oh, these
Gotcha,
things will
gotcha,
cure.
gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, I'm
What do
gonna
you mean
try to-
found? Nothing.
I'm gonna try to. You know what? I should probably just go to Darwin's. I'll just bring a peace offering.
Okay. I'll just meet you
Yeah.
at Muriel's then.
Sounds good. I'm gonna go find a really nice like po' boy or sandwich shop and get a replacement sandwich, like a very nice, you know, like a Reuben or a full-on like.
Ruben.
Pretty good.
I'll get a couple of options. I'll get like a shrimp po' boy and a like a cold cut sandwich.
Alright, so you get a couple sandwiches for Darwin, and then head to his place.
Yes.
So I feel like Darwin would like to believe that, Sundays are like a him kind of day.
Sure.
So, he takes inventory of things, he, listens to a little, stuff on the TV, probably cleans up his house some, maybe do any kind of little maintenance he feels like on the moped kind of thing,
Right.
just a day, just
Yeah.
kind of bill around.
Makes a few more bullets for the gun, because
Right.
you've used a couple of them. Yeah, right. Make some more ammo. So
Yeah, so just setting that as like, what's up?
Right.
Hey, it's me. Hey, I got food. Got food. Some good food.
Hey, it's you.
How's it going? How is it on this lovely Sunday morning at what? Probably not even 11 o'clock yet.
It's about 11, actually.
Okay.
That's about right.
I'm
Hi,
doing
Mom.
okay. How are
Good,
you?
good. Great. I brought lunch.
Okay.
It's a peace offering for,
It's a big bag.
Big bag.
Okay.
Yeah.
You gonna open it and look inside?
and I've already eaten, so that's all for you.
There's a couple sandwiches in there, some fries. Looks like maybe a bowl of something, gumbo-ish or something along those lines.
So more than I have any right to reasonably eat within. Okay, we got this.
You got a refrigerator,
Yeah,
so it's
it's-
okay.
I felt bad about,
No, that's fine. You don't have to bring it up every time we talk.
Sure. It's just my guilt, it weighs on me, and I have to.
She's a good Catholic girl.
I'm
so there you
into-
go.
I'm into righting my wrongs and that sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. Well, would you like to come in?
Yes, thanks. Am I interrupting? I'm looking around, probably all his components and things laying around and
No, I feel
smelting.
like most of the
tools.
components are.
Probably in
You've
the back.
probably gotten most of it.
Yeah.
If you've been up since 9 o'clock, you've probably gotten everything done except maybe the moped.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking too. So no, the house itself sure looked a bit more picked up than and put together than it probably did before.
Last time. Nice, tidy. Okay, cool. So what are your plans for today?
I'll still need to work on the moped for a little bit, but other than that, I don't know. Maybe flip through a couple of catalogs, see what's around.
Cool, fun. Down for a demon hunt later tonight, dinner at Muriel's and then demon hunt. Can be
Not gonna lie,
fun.
that sounds awful.
It does sound so awful, but it would be super helpful to have you there. And I understand if you don't want to come, but I could even help with the moped maybe and get it done faster. I don't know anything about bike mechanics at all, but I'll hand you wrenches and stuff.
I'm just saying, last night was an experience.
Yeah. I've never seen a dragon before.
Yeah, that was the only thing that was something.
Oh, yeah. Well, and also I guess the tower and the Grim Reapers and the whole mind control thing was also.
Yeah, first time in the Nevernever too. It's
Oh.
weird.
Yeah, I've heard about it. Never been personally.
Same until last night.
Yeah. Kind of wasn't what I was expecting. I don't know. I think I was expecting it to be I don't know.
More awful? Because I'm going to tell you right now, it seemed about the right amount of awful to me. That was...
I guess I was thinking it would be more ethereal. Maybe. When I think of awful, I think of hell, and it's so I wasn't expecting it to be hellish.
I think of awful, I just think of purgatory. Just nothing.
Yeah, that was especially the cubicle thing. That was definitely purgatory vibes. 100% purgatory vibes. So what's wrong with the moped?
Nothing. Just
Just maintenance.
yeah.
Things like that. Okay, cool.
I just try to do that usually
Well,
every Sunday.
I can't make promises that we won't get like sucked into another interdimensional fight or anything tonight, but I am hoping that what we're up against now we're more equipped for and we're more prepared and something maybe a little more in my wheelhouse, although I can't really know that for sure. So, if you'd be down to help us out,
What's the worst thing that could happen?
we could die. But that could happen on
I really want to go now.
Yeah, man.
that could happen
Sign
on
me up.
you could get into a moped accident and die
See,
too.
That's counterpoint.
I feel like at that point though,
Checkmate.
at that point though, I feel like I have a little bit more control over personally choosing to go towards death. I feel like that one's more of a random occurrence.
Right. I get that. I tell you what, if it seems like we're going to die, I will. Just a minute. Sorry.
No, by all means, if it seems like we're going to die.
This is gallows humor. This isn't funny to me at all. I will protect
Smile
you.
says otherwise.
It's just because mortal danger is really funny sometimes. I don't know. Anyway, I promise to protect you, okay? I'm not gonna let anything happen to you. I'll protect you.
You do know she has a pretty cool looking
pull out your
sword, and
sword.
she seems to know how to use it pretty well too.
Also, you don't have to get up in it like you did last time, Feel free to stand
That
behind
wasn't
me as a
my
human
choice.
shield. Yeah,
They came
that's
straight at us.
That's true. That's fair.
I used the warden as a shield.
I'm
As
assuming.
well you should.
That's right.
I'm assuming there's just the one Devilman,
There's a possibility of more?
No. I'm saying we fought 4 Grim Reapers and one almost died and it was really bad. But
I know, I saw.
I'm saying.
Did you see his arm?
Yeah, hey, cool thing though. You really fixed that up, proving my point, which is we need you. We really need you there.
I don't like this.
I know, I don't either. Hey, if I could choose to not have a Devilman killing people in the city and not deal with it, that would also be optimal. It's just not what's happening.
But it seems like I have a choice of not doing this.
No, you do. You totally do, which is why I'm here, literally begging you to come. I promise I will stand in the gap between you and danger.
I reach into the bag and I pull a sandwich. If someone dies, I'm running.
Okay. That's fair. Can you make more of those, healing potion things?
Did earlier.
Okay.
Already did.
Hey, look, see, part of your heart knew that you were, not gonna leave us out in the cold on this one.
That's what it
You were
was.
prepared.
That's what it was.
That's it.
You're a good man.
It's not part of my usual standard routine or
It was destiny or density or something.
Yeah, one of those
right?
things.
Yeah.
All right, let's fix this moped.
All right, so you guys go out to work on the moped. Sure enough, as she said, she doesn't know a whole lot about mechanical items, but she is good for handing you wrenches and periodically handing you different parts that need to be worked on. It takes a couple hours to make sure everything's good to work on the moped. So about 1:00, you're pretty much ready. It's back to where you want it to be. What are you guys gonna do after 1:00?
Anything else you need my help with?
I mean, at that point, I feel like most of my day is pretty much done.
Well, if you need to grab a nap, I'm probably going to head back to my place, grab any supplies that I need, and then...
I don't think I need a nap. I think at that point, though, if we're just kind of set on our little trajectory here, I'll just follow you around then.
Okay.
All right, so how did you get there, by the way?
I probably took
He doesn't live real far from you. He's definitely closer to you than you are to Dela. Because remember, he's kind of in the area of the Garden District that's undergoing gentrification.
I probably took the streetcar to get here just like last time. And if it's not like terribly far, I also I'm not averse to walking.
Right.
If I've got time.
Okay. So you guys probably hop a streetcar, head back to her place. She goes to the pawn shop. Are you going to pick up anything from the pawn shop? You got most of your stuff you needed already because you were actually intending to go last night and wound up having to take care of Terrence, right?
Yeah. So maybe we didn't go to the pawn shop. Maybe any other errands you want to run today? Oh, what if? Let's go to a voodoo shop.
Why?
Okay, they have really good candles. It's not my thing either.
They do.
But they have really good candles.
They do. This is true.
That faces.
We have some time to kill.
It is an interesting place to go to. That's for sure.
Also, there might be somebody there who's like heard word on the street about these cats.
I think you're just making this better.
Told you once already, cats don't have masks in Tennessee. I don't understand what the problem is.
Didn't really have them in Florida either, however.
The one voodoo shop that you know of that is pretty... The big place to go is named Marie Laveau's House of Voodoo.
Perfect.
Yeah.
On the off chance that they might have some kind of unique ingredients there,
There is that.
then I'll go.
Yeah.
That's how you sell things to me.
This is the outside
Candles.
of
I
it.
did that.
That is Marie Laveau's House of Voodoo. That's what it looks like.
Ooh, cute.
So yeah, you can actually go in there. So you're able to go in there. There's several sets of tourists. What's that?
Pencil.
Oh.
Mine's not working anymore. Thank you.
There's several sets of tourists that are in there, and it is kind of a touristy place. It's a bookstore. There's lots of books. There's lots of little voodoo doll kits that they sell there, things like that. There's also it says that they do readings and things like. Also, if you want your palm read, or if you want a tarot reading, and things along those lines.
What comes in a voodoo doll kit? Just curious.
A little voodoo doll. There's like some pins, and then there's a little paper in the back that tells you how to do the spell to get it to work. So you're not sure how legit that is. It sounds kind of like something you would sell to the. It sounds like something you would sell to the rubes from out of town. Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know how to do real magic, and
Right.
you know that voodoo dolls can be done this way. In fact, you can actually do some pretty nasty magic, but you're kind of going, I don't know about this. Let me see if I can find the picture of the woman. Yes, when you come inside, there's I won't say elderly. She's probably in her 40s, maybe 50s, but she's what can only be described as just an absolutely beautiful, maybe her skin's a little lighter colored. You think maybe she's got some French, blood in her because her eyes are... If you've ever seen the pictures of, the typical voodoo priestess, with the kind of the coffee skin, and she's got the wrap on her head, this is who you're seeing. And she's 50 years old, you think. She looks like she's maybe 30. I mean, she's absolutely drop dead gorgeous. You're like, wow, what a beautiful woman. And she's standing behind the counter. The entire shop is kind of made of rough wood, and it's got some stairs that you can go up to, with the second floors. She's standing behind the counter, and she looks and she says, "Welcome to Marie Laveau's. I'm Anne-Marie Laveau. Is there anything you're looking for in particular?" And when she says it, it's just her voice is like this kind of satin or a nun with a past, and it just kind of wraps around you, and it kind of sends a shiver up and down your spine. You're just kind of like, wow, this woman is just, I don't get these kind of feelings about like this all the time, but wow, it makes you, tingle a little bit. And she smiles at you and says, anything in particular you're looking for, sir? Or ma'am?
Eucalyptus candles.
Eucalyptus candles are upstairs. My daughter should be able to help you up there if you will go up the stairs.
Perfect.
She says, anything for you, sir?
Just sort of leave Darwin to fend for himself.
Yeah, there you go.
So nice of you.
Yeah, leave him
Natural.
alone with the sexy voodoo priestess.
Just kind of like looking around, like, is there anything that kind of catches my eye that's...
Well, there's a lot of stuff around there. You notice that there's some things behind the counter that look like they might actually be things like, one of them says like ghost dust, and another one says, grave dirt. And you're thinking that maybe they actually do a minor business in selling stuff to actual practitioners. So, interestingly enough. But most of the stuff out there is, like love candles, or candles to the Loa of prosperity and stuff like that. So, very much stuff that you would sell to people who are coming from out of town.
Right.
So, yeah. But it does seem like she has a little bit of stuff behind the counter.
That being said, then I was like, kind of there's a little around real quick and like, actually, actual grave dirt? Just wondering. So,
She says, so you're not interested in one of our voodoo doll kits, or maybe one of the true love candles?
and I look
Again,
back
that little
like,
when she says true love, you kind of you tingle a little bit. Ooh, yeah.
no.
And she says, well, let me see. And so she turns around and she pulls up the jar, and it's got this dirt in it. You notice that the dirt has, little pieces of grass in it. There's no worms or no bugs or anything like that. She says, this dirt was gathered under the new moon in a cemetery outside of New Orleans. Of course, as you know, most of the cemeteries here are watched very closely. I can guarantee its authenticity.
Remembering back to when we were first trying to figure out the whole conundrum and whatnot with the house and those ghosts, and thinking that I could have really used some grave dirt then. I had to make do with some other things I had, but...
Well, she's also got some things like, looks like what's a black cat bone. There's some other things like powdered cemetery dust, which comes from, that they powdered basically one of the headstones or something like that. So there's a lot of stuff back there. All of it's kind of spooky. But, some of it's not. Some of it's like willow bark, which is not bad stuff to have either.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't know. At that point, kind of like look around, just kind of like, yeah, I might actually take a few of these, if you don't mind. If that's the, just start like pointing out some of the little.
She gets them down and puts them on the counter, and if you want to see if they're authentic, you're going to have to make a lore check. Okay, and I'll let you just do one check for all of them, pretty much.
So that would be +2.
You know, tag an aspect to get a +2.
I'm thinking about it.
Not a bad idea. What kind of lore aspect are you going to use?
I personally feel like I might have a couple of good ones.
Okay, what's one?
Like
You can tag 2 different aspects if you want and get a total +4. Okay, but they have to be reasonably reasonable.
yeah, like one of the things I was thinking was new place, new life. Because I've never been to this place.
Right.
Another one is questionable acquaintances.
I'm not sure either one of those would really help you with identifying whether this stuff is legit. Maybe New Place, New Life would. I'll let you tag that one. I'm not sure about questionable acquaintances. I don't know about that. So, yeah. Okay, so new Place, New Life. That'll give you a +2.
What about quantity over quality?
That probably makes a little more sense to me, actually.
Yeah.
So let's go with that one. Okay, so I'll take one of your little things back.
Yeah.
You look at the stuff she's put down, the dust, the grave dirt. All of it seems to be pretty good. You're noticing it's got the right color, it's got the right consistency, pretty high quality stuff, actually. When she hands you one of the jars, your hand brushes up against hers, and there's kind of an electric shock, which is the way you know that you're dealing with a practitioner.
Right.
All practitioners, when they touch each other, you get this kind of, static electricity charge. And she looks at you. Okay? And she looks at you and smiles. And I'm going to see how to do this real quick, because you're going to enter into what's called a soul gaze. Yeah, I don't remember exactly how to do
She's gonna get you.
This was just a waste time until dinner.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
All right. First time someone with the soul gaze ability meets the gaze of someone else with a mortal soul for more than a few moments, they enter a state called soul gazing. Generally, this can't happen unless both parties want to make eye contact. So you feel like you're gonna see into each other's souls, but you can, of course, avert your eyes quickly if you don't want that to happen.
I think you got to whiff that love potion.
I feel like a version going on.
I'm thinking soul glow.
Honestly, like the way things are going, I feel like I would look at her.
Okay.
Just for the sake fact, just like, hey, blah, blah, whatever, and zzz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So
It's that impulse of like,
you notice she has these rich, dark eyes, almost black, and then you feel yourself kind of being pulled forward like you're going down into a deep, deep well. Now, understand, she's going to be able to look into your soul as well. So
Okay.
it's a two-way street, okay? You see her, you're falling forward, and all of a sudden there's a sound like thunder. And you notice that out across the water, you can see that there's a hurricane coming towards you. And so you're standing on the levee with a young man who very obviously looks like your son. I mean, the same kind of facial features and the same kind of eyes. And he's standing there with 2 or 3 other people who maybe are practitioners. And he's got his hand up against the sky, and you can literally see these pulsing waves coming out from his hand. And the people around him are chanting, and you're standing there chanting, and you see the hurricane, as it starts coming towards you, slow down. And then you realize it's about to turn away from New Orleans and go off to the west, which, if you remember, Katrina didn't hit New Orleans. It actually hit Bay St. Louis. And so he's standing there, and you can see these streamers coming out from his hand, but you can also see it's like these chains are trying to drag the hurricane towards New Orleans. And so he's fighting against something that's pulling the hurricane towards New Orleans, and he's pushing it away, and the chanting gets louder and louder and louder and louder, and all of a sudden he grabs his chest and drops to one knee. And the woman, who you realize is Anne-Marie, screams and goes over to him and grabs him, and he drops to the ground, and his eyes start to flutter, and he falls over on his back, and he's grabbing his chest, and and then she goes over, and she's praying and oh Lord, don't take him, and his heart stops, and she lets out a cry of pain, and then the vision ends. Okay? And so she looks at you, and you notice that actually her eyes are kind of a little damp, and she says, people don't normally see that about me. Are you planning to purchase these things? And you notice that she was really warm and friendly, and you kind of had this, almost flirty feeling to her. That's all gone now. She is business.
I'm just seeing this like aura of awkwardness.
Right.
Like, what?
That's my existence.
Are you going to
She
purchase
said it would
these
be
things?
safe to come here.
So I kind of take a moment and sort of kind of like processing, and then just grab the love candle. I was like, yeah.
She looks at you and she says, I would appreciate it if you wouldn't share what you saw with anyone. Mainly because my son is the one who you saw perish, and he has family in the city.
Yeah, it's not a word.
Okay. And so she bundles all this stuff up and hands it to you and says, "Take it and go." But it doesn't seem like she's mad. It seems like she's just kind of, these emotions are still pretty raw, and that you've just kind of brought them to the surface, and she's just trying to kind of work through them so that she doesn't let her guard down.
Yeah.
And then, you head towards the door. You come downstairs.
Looking really disappointed. And I'm like, they were all shaped like penises. Can't buy that.
There you go. And so you see Darwin heading out the door, actually. And the lady behind the counter sees you and says, and she smiles kind of warmly, but her demeanor has changed. There's a kind of a sadness that you're getting off of her at this point. And she says, "Well, I will see if I can order a new set of candles, maybe something more along like what you're looking for."
Yeah, just something in a glass, something just less phallic would be great.
She says, "Oh, well, here." And she reaches behind the counter and brings out this cute little Yankee candle on it.
Oh,
and
perfect.
It's a eucalyptus
exactly
candle.
what I was looking. That's what I was looking for.
Oh, she says, "Well, that'll be $12.
Perfect. Okay.
Hand her the $12. She wraps it up for you and she says, "Thank you. Come again. I'll make sure I keep some of these on hand for you if you're interested."
Great. Yeah, I go through a lot. I have a lot of stress, so go through a lot of aromatherapy candles.
And as you're getting ready to leave, you notice her hand brushes your hand, and of course you don't get any electric shock because you're not a practitioner. And so she kind of looks at you askance and she says, "Be careful of your friend. He is maybe putting himself into a situation that could be very dangerous for him."
Oh yeah, I did that.
No, she looks at, no. She looks at you and says,
No, she's right.
No, she looks at you and says, "I'm not talking about what you're doing tonight. I'm talking about that by distancing himself from his friends, a lone creature is easier to take than one that is in a pack." And so she says, "But you know what I'm talking about." And so she says, "Have a good day," and kind of smiles.
I do, and I just perplexedly sort of walk out with my Yankee candle.
She comes out with a candle in a bag. It's a Yankee candle. It's very nice.
I like to think I'm still processing.
You probably are. Yeah. And you're kind of
Like I'm
realizing
also
that her son literally gave his life to probably protect New Orleans from the hurricane, from Katrina. But that the big thing was that somebody was pulling the hurricane to New Orleans to try and decimate the city with it. So there's definitely some, moving hurricanes around is pretty serious ritual magic. I mean, you're very familiar with ritual magic. That's probably a little out of what you've ever done before.
Only a little.
A little, yeah. You never know. So you're kind of looking at it going, wow, that's somebody was moving some serious power around and was being fought by some people who were moving some serious power around too. So it's some big stuff going on, All right, so you've got your stuff. You've got your stuff. It's probably around 3:30. Now you're supposed to meet with everybody at 5:30. Muriel's is probably 30 minutes from there, if that. So you could get there at 4 o'clock if you want. They do have a nice bar.
So that being said, how long would it take to get from Marie Laveau's place to my house and then back to where we're supposed to meet?
Oh, you could easily do that in 45 minutes. Easily.
I want to do that because I want to carry around the jars and stuff.
I can understand that. You could probably take your candle back to your apartment above the...
I'm going to bring it with me.
You can bring it with you? Okay. So, you going to head with him to his house?
I'm just going to follow him around until it's time to go.
I can only think, he started off, he was nervous. She made it worse. He went there, it made it worse. I hope he leaves
Probably
the house.
when we get to the house, if I'm figuring his demeanor, I might just leave the candle.
But you don't want to carry it around either. It might get broken.
He needs that.
Right. So you drop your stuff off at the house. She just says she's going to leave her candle there and she'll pick it up later because she doesn't want it to get broken. You probably had all your little messenger bag full of stakeout kit and things
ready.
along those lines. All right, so
Quick, make sure I have my stuff.
that's right, you do.
Yep.
Hey, Macarena. All right, so there you go. So what are the rest of you doing? It's probably around 1 in the afternoon.
So
I'll
what
probably call Bunk.
time of year is this?
Time of year, it's November. It's a little cool. Yeah.
2009?
2010, yeah.
probably watching the Saints game.
This is true. You probably are.
It is Sunday.
I am going to have a little backpack that I'm going to put in like waters and snackage, just things, and then stuff that I might need
Right.
as a warden to take with me.
So you're packing your stuff up, right?
A bit after I pack, it's not going to take me that long.
Yeah.
I figure I'd do stuff. So I'm going to pack that stuff up, and then I'm going to sit down with a list of the 100 names and see if I can see if there were locations for them, or if I can kind of, figure out
Some kind of
where
pattern.
it's
Gotcha.
some kind of pattern, or
Right.
where did most of it happen.
Well, remember, he printed out for you only stuff that was in the Garden District and the French Quarter. So it's all in that area. You do notice that none of it is around Jackson Square. You notice that none of it is around Audubon Park. Other than that, it's kind of random. Most of it's on little side streets. All of it's after dark, of course. The ones that you think are probably the Devilman. Now, some of them are like I said, psoriasis of the liver, or they died of, lung cancer.
Well, I'm gonna cross those off.
Right. And so you narrow it down to about 30 people who might have been killed by the Devilman. And again, all of them are in kind of back alleys, back streets, things along those lines, and they're all, of course, natural causes. So, yeah.
And so they were in back alleys and back streets,
Right.
but not Jackson Square.
Right. It's funny because the Devilman doesn't kill anybody in Jackson Square, doesn't seem like, and he doesn't kill anybody in Audubon Park, down where the zoo is.
But it's not like there's a path or a line or...
It's just kind of random. Again, secluded areas seems to be the modus operandi.
And did the police on the report, were there dates next to when the people died?
Yeah, well, just dates.
Can I tell if it was was there a pattern dates, like 2 days between, a week between,
It's
like a bunch
almost,
to nothing, a bunch to nothing?
it's almost a random. Sometimes it's 2 days before one turns up. Sometimes it's a week. But, it's been in 3 weeks. So most of the time, if there's got 30 people in 3 weeks, most of them were about one a day or something like that. There was kind of a long period in there where nobody was found for a week, but then it's about one a day. They even have a couple days where there were 2 people found.
Okay, so... Do I know where Miranda lives?
Yeah, you do.
I'm going to hop on my bike
Okay.
and bike to her place. Because I want to, yeah.
Okay. All right. So you had headed over to his place. You head to Miranda's place. It's above a pawn shop. Go inside. Pawn shop owner has a bunch of, kind of stuff there. What are you going to ask him?
Is Miranda around?
No, she left early this morning. I haven't seen her since. Who should I ask? Who should I say is looking for her?
Dela.
Dela. Okay. Look, if she gets back, I'll tell her you came looking for her.
Okay.
All right. So you head out. It's probably, like I said, around 1 o'clock or something along those lines. Maybe 1:30. It probably took you 30 minutes to get your stuff together. Probably maybe another 30 minutes to ride over there. It might be 2 o'clock.
Okay. I'm trying to remember. Let's see. She told me. I'm thinking about the cats.
Mm-hmm.
Sister Isolde. I'm going to go look for Sister Isolde in Jackson Square.
You hop on your bike, head to Jackson Square again. Again, most of the card readers, palm readers are there. There's a lot of artists that are selling their wares. You're looking for Sister Isolde. You don't really know what she looks like is the problem.
Right, so I'm going to ask around, hey, I'm looking for Sister Isolde. Can you guys help me out?
You head to one of the first booths that's there. You say, hey, have you seen Sister Isolde? And the guy says, yeah, she's down around the corner right next to the guy who does the pretty Japanese writing.
Oh, okay, cool.
You head around the corner. Lots of tourists walking around, all of them, with daiquiris and stuff like that. You notice that a wedding has just finished up at St. Louis Cathedral, and so there's people taking pictures and things along those lines. You head around the corner, and there's the guy, the little Asian gentleman who always did the really cool signs that had different letters. And you see a lady wearing glasses, dark hair. She's a little older, maybe 40 years older. And she's sitting at a table, got an umbrella over her to keep her kind of cool. But it's, November, so she's not really keeping cool. It's mainly keeping the sun off of her. And she's sitting there, and she's sorting through what looks like tarot cards. Nobody seems to be getting a reading from her right now, but she's just sitting there.
Okay, I'm gonna walk up and say, "Hi, Sister Isolde."
And she looks up at you and she says, "Who's asking?"
I'm Dela. I'm a friend of Miranda's.
Miranda, the street preacher.
Yes,
She was
ma'am.
out preaching earlier today. Seemed to be doing pretty well. She's not the typical hellfire and brimstone type. She talked to me the other night, in fact. I think she's all right.
Yeah, I had a couple of questions because she and I were talking and we actually saw it too. The cats that you mentioned to her that gather.
Cats that tend to be inside the garden, yes.
Yeah. Do you happen to know, or have you heard anybody talking about maybe the same thing happening out in the Audubon park area?
I don't get down to Audubon Park very much. The only thing I really do is around here. I've got a place that I live in nearby. No, not that I can say of. The cats really don't bother anybody, but then we don't bother them either. Most of the time around dark, we're folding up our carts and getting out of there. I've seen the cats a few times. I just give them a wide berth. Cats are not good most of the time.
Yeah.
Especially not for those of us who traffic in other powers.
Right. I understand. Thank you. I'll give her a couple bucks for taking up her time.
Well, when
Or
you
maybe
enter a
5.
couple bucks, she says, "Oh, well, then you've got to sit down and let me do a reading."
No, I'd rather not.
Okay.
Thank you.
She takes out a package of cigarettes and taps them out and lights one up and sits there, and just kind of the smoke just kind of spirals up, and she says, "Well, good luck,"
Thanks.
and you head off.
How long would it take me to get to Audubon Park?
Let's see, it's about 2:00. Riding your bike, you could probably get down there in 30 minutes.
And we're meeting at 5:30.
Right.
Right. So I'm gonna hop on my handy dandy bike and I'm going to ride to Audubon Park.
Okay. You hop on your bike.
And I'm gonna stop off to get some paint pens, some metallic gold paint pen,
Okay, you can do that.
and then like a little black Sharpie.
Okay, you can do that. No problem at all. You're able to do that, and so you head towards the park. It takes you around 45 minutes to get down there. You remember the park has lots of trees, lots of people out. There's lots of people in the park until about, you've been there maybe 15 minutes, and then the park clears out because you realize the Saints game has started. And so the park clears out a good bit. What are you going to do?
I'm gonna look around for anybody who seems like this is probably where they hang out, either panhandling or, just to rest. The people that people ignore, but are always there.
Interesting thing about that, you don't see anybody really that meets that description. There's a lot of people that basically go to Loyola University that like to come out and run through the park, and so it's got a lot of people like that. But other than that, like if you're thinking of like maybe vagrants, they're not seeing them. You're not seeing them there. I need you to make me a lore check.
Get the bad rolls out now.
Ooh, that's a pretty good roll right there.
So
Ooh.
plus
Good
7.
night.
+7. All right. You go to Audubon Park. You're kind of walking around, and something feels off to you. That there's something about it's like the hairs on the back of your neck are standing up. You just feel really uncomfortable. You notice yourself looking around more often. You hear a weird noise off behind you. You turn around really quickly to see what it is. Something's got you kind of keyed up in a way that you're not used to.
Okay. I'm going to take a deep breath.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to remember how I worked with the brooch
Mm-hmm.
that she had that was inciting fear.
Mm-hmm.
To
This
fight the fear so I could...
this feels very much along the same lines as if someone were trying to cause you to be afraid. This feels a lot like the brooch.
Great. I found him all by myself.
No, it's daytime.
What the heck? Oh, good.
Yeah, it's daytime.
All right. So, okay, but
Don't you know you never split the party?
That's right.
Well, I'm not. I'm being the warden. Okay, anyway. Yeah, so, okay.
You
So,
got your deputies.
they sleep too late. You guys don't get up till like, what? 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon?
I've been working the whole time in my warehouse since like 8 in the
And
morning.
Bird
Wait,
gets
wait.
The
the
Saints are
Devilman.
playing. My goodness.
I don't have your phone numbers.
And whose
I don't
fault
have
is
a
that?
phone.
Oh, you don't?
Well, I have a flip phone, maybe. I never use it. I can't find it. Anyway,
Better get some pigeons.
so, okay, again, I'm just going to
That'd be cool.
breathe, tell myself, what this is, and then I'm going to be actively, can I look?
Well,
to
you
see
kind
where
of
it's
walk
coming
underneath.
from?
Well, there's a big oak tree that you're kind of walking towards. It and the reason you're walking towards it is it's got these bells and chimes in it that you can hear kind of ringing as the wind kind of blows through them. They're just kind of softly, and they actually are kind of peaceful to you, and it just seems like maybe this is kind of like a calm area to go to, and so you're just kind of gradually drifting that direction, and you get to the oak tree, and you're kind of looking around, and behind you, you hear someone say, "You feel it too." Hi. Today on the Dresden Download, we're going to talk about fairies, or as they're sometimes called, the Fae. Now in the Dresden verse, there are 3 courts of fairies. The first one is the Summer Court. We sometimes call them the Seelie fairies, and they're ruled by 3 queens, Mother Summer, the Summer Queen, and the Summer Lady. They also have a champion called the Summer Knight, and they're associated with heat and growth and life. On the other side, we have the Winter Court, or what we sometimes call the Unseelie fairies. They're also ruled by 3 queens, Mother Winter, the Winter Queen, and the Winter Lady. They also have a champion called the Winter Knight, and early in the books, that mantle is held by Lloyd Slade, a thoroughly unkind and not very nice guy. Then there's a 3rd court of fairies that are called the Wild Fae. It's probably the largest court, and it's ruled by no one, and there are a lot of people who are involved in it. Father Christmas, Santa Claus, is a wild fae. Anyway, that's what we know about fairies in the Dresden verse.